All right, so you haven't really met anyone at all, but you and I obviously really look forward to these trips all year. We save a whole hell of a lot of money and put a lot of time and effort into pulling these trips off. You've been up here to the States twice. I've been down to Oz once, and I'm already...
Twice? You mean 3?
Well, I'm referring to the last 2 years. Okay. Post YouTube. And I'm planning on going down to either Australia, Singapore, and meeting you in Dublin within the next year.
Yes.
So to pull these trips, guys, these trips ain't cheap. So, yeah, I realize that you're looking for a romantic partner just like I am, but why is it that something that you really enjoy and that you look forward to for the entire year has to stop on the basis that you have a relationship with another individual that prohibits you from doing something that you love?
Because generally they get jealous. Okay, 2, and you can never plan when these things are going to happen, when you're actually going to meet up with someone. True or not true?
You and I planned this 9 months ago.
It's not saying much about us. So what I was trying to get at was, I mean, you don't plan on meeting people, and sometimes, I love Vegas for me. I just saw someone in Vegas, and it was almost like, what do they call that, epiphany. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I turned around, I saw this girl. It's pretty much on my checklist of what I liked. I had a few drinks, and there was no mucking about. There was no game. There was no, what do they call that? There was just no mucking about. I saw her through this gap. It was almost like an epiphany. I just went bang, straight in there. I told her she was the best looking thing I've ever seen, and pretty much could I borrow her away from her friends, and they said yes. And then I saw her the second night in Vegas too, and I think this chick's cool, and she gives me shit, which she gives me like grief, and like, she's like, bust my balls. Is that a term you use here?
Absolutely.
She bust my balls, and we had fun, and then we met up the second night, and we pretty much got on pretty well, and I've never sort of had that in the last 3 years. So, but the suck part about it is I live in Australia, and this person lives in America. I mean, at the end of the day, it might have just been a thing for her where she'll never talk to me again. So be it. When I get to Los Angeles, I'll find out. If she doesn't want to meet with me, I'll know I wasn't that important, and I'll move on. But I just said, this is the first 3 years. Seriously, in 3 years, this is the first time I've actually liked somebody and looked and went, wow, yes, I want to get to know this person. And as soon as I got to know him on the next night, hanging out, we hung out for like 5-6 hours, just chatting and talking, and we got on really well. There was some, what do they call that? Some deep sort of shit and fun and crying and everyone, and shit, and it was just good. So
okay, well, I want to ask you a couple questions.
Shit.
You just identified that partners get jealous and that there are issues with trust in a relationship.
Yeah.
And would you agree that trust is incredibly important in a relationship?
100%. If you cheat, lie, out of there. See you later, no question.
So, how mature is a relationship if you cannot trust your partner to go have a night or even a week with the guys somewhere?
That's true, but then again, a lot of girls are like that. A lot of girls won't trust their boyfriends or husbands to go away certain places, or if they do, they'll be called all the time. They'll be given grief, trouble, jealousy, annoyance that their husband, partner, or boyfriend's going away. That's just the way it is sometimes. So
100%. I think if I ever met anyone that would be that jealous, we would never be compatible in a relationship ever.
I agree. That's what my first relationship of 5 years was dominated with that sort of thing. And if some other girl was around, she'd be like, and it was very, very obvious to the other person, and very embarrassing for me most of the time. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I've met a couple of people out there that have that kind of trust that they're able to carry on in a relationship like that. So, other than time and repeatedly doing small things to build someone's trust, how do you ever get a relationship to the point where that level of trust even exists?
Again, you got to pick the right person. There's someone out there for everybody, I guess. Maybe it depends if you found him yet or not. Doesn't matter if you find him here, Australia, England, South Africa. I guess you're going to find your mate, your soulmate, or not. I don't know if it's soulmate, but I guess some personalities just don't mesh well together. I think some personalities do. Some just complement each other beautifully. It depends on the people, individuals. So, and if you haven't found that person exactly yet, you will one day, provided that again you're putting yourself in the situation of in a proximity to where those people may be. I mean, obviously, if you're a person that's religious, you're not going to go to nightclubs a lot trying to find someone with the same compatibilities. You know, and then generally it's the same thing. You're not going to go to like gothic rock clubs to find a partner that's maybe a religious person either. You know, you're not going to go to a church to find that person either. So it depends on what your, you know, proximity is key. Proximity. You know, you're going to stay at home and be on the internet all the time and not go out and meet people and interact with people. That's what I had to start doing the last couple of years. I mean, you know, also the last 6 months or so. All my friends are getting married, all my friends are engaged, or in long-term relationships, and a lot of the times they don't want to go out and meet people because they've already got partners. They just want to relax and have a barbecue and a beer on a weekend. Well, that's fun. I love doing that. I love these guys are my best friends in the world, but you know, I'm still single. I want to go out, put myself in a proximity to meet beautiful women or women in general, and have a good time. Not necessarily to do anything, not necessarily to, you know, have a one-night stand or anything. It's just, you know, the more people you meet, you know, I guess the more chance you've got to find in that special person. So, again, I love Vegas. This person was cool.
Okay, so a few more questions. So we know that trust is really important in a relationship, and we're still kind of iffy on whether or not there can ever be the one. So why is it that men are taught all these skills and these, what do they call it, the game?
The Game.
Where
by
they go
Neil,
in.
The Game by Neil Strauss.
Okay.
Also known as Style.
The game. If you have to have a concerted way of approaching someone and push their buttons in a certain way so that you can instantly get exactly what you want from a person, I immediately take fault with the ethics of that. And the reason,
no, see, that's what I mean. But that's not what it's about. I mean, a lot of men, right, have this thing called what they call approach anxiety, which means they don't have the guts, the balls, for whatever. This is me up until about 3 months ago, even probably less than that even. I'd see a beautiful woman that I maybe, even if I'm not interested, just I want to chat to somebody, you know, in a club there's 2-3 girls that I just want to have a chat with, right? And I can't actually, a couple of times I've just frozen up with fear, and a lot of guys are like that, and they think it's actually a primal fear of rejection and not knowing, you know, they don't want to be rejected, because back in the old times, often if you were rejected by a woman,